my cards.
Nelson Mandela once quoted that no one truly knows a nation until it has been inside its jails. And a nation should not be judged by how it treats its highest citizens, but its lowest ones. And his quote cannot be more true after looking at the way our nation deals with criminals or inmates. We contain 25% of the world's entire prison population and have more prisons and jails than colleges. And this means that our country spends more on prisons than it does on educating our children. And despite this number, the people who have been thrown into the system are barely given a chance to change and serve their sentences in a way that is fair. And after copious time of gathering information from several credited sources, I came to the shocking revelation that the US prison system is not effective for rehabilitating people who have committed crimes. And with the information gathered, I want to persuade my audience to start acknowledging the US prison system and how it has consistently ignored opportunities in which inmates could change for the better and in order to re-enter society as normal citizens. And first, I will be touching on the factors preventing inmates from rehabilitating, and then I will touch on the change the US prison system can make for the better, and then lastly, I will talk about how this could all work out to make prisons effective if these changes were met. And to start, many incarcerated people are beaten, stabbed, raped, killed in facilities run by corrupt officials. And prisoners who need care or services are denied, ignored, and punished, and allowed only for showers, brief exercise, and denied calls or visits. And prison labor isn't helping either. Many of the working duties that prisoners undergo are underpaid and dehumanizing. The organization, the Innocence Project, notes that the prison labor dehumanizes inmates instead of helping them integrate them back into society. They later add that the 13th Amendment from our Constitution presented a loophole for prisons and for large corporations to take advantage of inmates for cheap labor. And this creates conditions that thousands of inmates are prone to reoffend. It clogs the system because without employment opportunities and necessities, successful reentry into society is nearly impossible. Liz Benecke from the Harvard Political Review explains that because prisoners aren't properly aided for rehabilitation, it becomes difficult for them to rejoin society and causes them to recommit crimes. And the reality is that today, prisons create a cycle of self-manifestation without a chance for them to redeem themselves or to improve. And now that I have discussed the overall factors that prevent prison inmates from rehabilitating and explain why it is so ineffective, I'm going to turn to the implementations and programs that can benefit such changes. And with the implementation of programs and services that truly seek to help inmates, the U.S. prison system can effectively start to work. According to a 2016 national survey from 800 survivors of violence by the Alliance on Safety and Justice, 52%, as seen in this graph, 52% of them are more likely to recommit crimes, and 61% prefer shorter sentences and spending more time on prevention and rehabilitation programs, and a whopping 81% prefer spending more on programs for at-risk youth and other crime prevention programs. And as you can see, the prisoners themselves believe that very little is being done for them, and would gladly embrace for the opportunity to have a secure future once released. And we can begin to breed progress and improvement amongst the system instead of a never-ending cycle of mass exploitation, mass incarceration. And finally, we can look into the possible solutions for this problem. We can delve into how this could change the way prison systems are used going into the future. And if US prison systems do begin to make the appropriate changes, we could see a drastic change in the way they are perceived. We could see changes in areas involving crime, employment, and we could see the solution to overcrowding in prisons. We could potentially see this as a domino effect. And basically, if we were to truly implement such programs, we would see positive results. Prisoners could safely re-enter society as good, changed citizens. And then that would allow thousands of these people to become employed and reduce the likelihood of recommitting crimes. With this reduction, we could potentially begin to see a dwindle in crime numbers. And thus, prisons would no longer pertain to the problem of overcrowding or mass incarcerations. And in closing, the conditions in which prison inmates are subjected to don't allow for any rehabilitation opportunities. But with the implementation of relevant programs, we would begin to see positive change, such as the domino effect that I explained. And bringing these benefits into the future, beyond simply rehabilitating inmates, would be good to society as a whole. But until then, the situation remains largely the same, and that means prison systems make it extremely difficult for prison inmates to rehabilitate after committing crimes. And we must bring this to the attention of our governments to seize fundings of these new prisons and begin to look for solutions instead of shoving society's problems into a cell.